One. All right, welcome to episode 6 of Beer League. And today we're breaking ground today. We got two guests.
Two guests. This is awesome.
We've got Troy Hart over here, longtime friend of mine.
Get the claps.
And we've got his son, actually. It's a special treat here. Brock Hart. How you doing, Brock?
Doing good.
These guys drove in from Knoxville today, and they got a little business in town, but we took this opportunity to see if Troy is housebroken enough to do a podcast. So we're going to see. We're going to see. But Troy and I go way back, and we really wanted to talk to him today, about this, that, everything. But, he is a coach. He's coached many years. And like our last guest, Mike Gray, he's got 3 kids, and they've all kind of gone on a travel journey, whether it was basketball or baseball or football or volleyball and who knows what else.
And we'll have to determine if he's one of those crazy travel parents. I don't think so. He's sitting next to me. He looks pretty jacked, too, so I'm going to say no.
See, the thing about Troy is he's a good coach. He would definitely make sure everybody was learning their life lessons. But every once in a while, he'd get an email or two from a parent. And I remember several instances years ago sitting on your dock. And I think Brock at that time was probably about our kids' ages. And you had some parents, maybe it was a mom, who had some advice for you.
Yeah.
Really?
I got into a little bit of a back and forth with her on text messaging. Yeah, but it was a group chat kind of a thing. And so at the same time, I was text messaging like a buddy of mine. It didn't end well. I kind of
mixed them
up a little bit.
Accidentally on purpose, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, needless to say, she and her kid weren't on the team much longer after that. But so I'm no longer allowed on any team chats or any of that. Because it's wonderful because my wife, she does all the stuff, and then she just tells me, "Here's the game, here's the practice, here's whatever." And so
that's probably a good policy.
It's wonderful. It saved me.
Yeah. Like, did they do the 24-hour rule?
No.
That right there, you don't even talk to them then.
Yeah,
That's my 24-hour rule.
Yeah.
When something happens and little Johnny's not getting playing time, you worry about, just let it settle down for 24 hours, and then we tell little Johnny, you still suck.
Yeah, that's kind of what I told her, but I didn't mean to tell her that.
So you're telling your buddy.
Yeah, I was telling my buddy. She was.
That's the thing.
She was number one. How about that?
Every team has an app or whatever, but then there's the group chat.
Yeah.
And, it's useful, but people, they like or they heart everything. And so you get a text message every 5 seconds for no reason. But then you have the kids that show up to the first practice and then they don't play, and their parents get left on there. And so, you can take that one or two ways. Some people just wait 2 weeks and then bitch and say, take me off. But I was having dinner with some friends the other night, and they said that they told the coach right away that, look, we can't make it to practice, so we're not going to be on the team. But they stayed on the group chat, and then, things kind of went awry, and all the parents were going after each other, and they had the ability to just kind of weigh in with nothing to lose, which I thought would be great to really teach some people some lessons. But, it's tough when you're dealing with those parents that are actually a little bit more involved and are asking you questions. But you coached all kinds of sports. What got you started coaching?
Bill Johnson. I started with the firm in '97, and he was coaching his kids, and he asked me if I would want to help him because I played a little bit, and I said sure. And it was any way to get out of the office at that time, so I got to leave at 3:30, and everybody else was jealous. But so was Bill, and it was just a good time. And I got my dad involved with that as well. And this was in Georgia. And then when we moved to Tennessee, then we started with Brock, and then Carly, and now Blake. So
was this always travel ball, or was it rec ball first?
No,
and then you. Yeah.
When we started, there was no really travel ball. You would go through and you went through your season, and then you had your kind of your all-star team, and then if you were good enough, then whoever was going to the next level, they would pick you up and that kind of stuff. So
interesting, because that's what I'm at right now. But I've coached travel. I've pulled back because to me, travel baseball can get a little too hectic and dicey. I still coach rec ball, and unfortunately, last night was my last game. We ended up losing in the playoffs. But I still am coaching the Cal Ripken All-Star team for the summer. Sure. So we're in the midst of that right now. And the text threads that you just talked about is going on right now as we speak. And a lot of thumbs up, a lot of hearts, and a lot of curse words are going on right now. And it's especially with this rain that's happening every day. See, the fields that we are on, they suck. Anytime it rains, they cancel the field, and the city is controlling everything, and we can't touch it. Sure. We can't touch the fields. We can't rake. We can't do any grounds crew. I mean, back when I was growing up, guess who the grounds crew were?
Yeah.
Us. Right. You know, the kids on the team. Hey, I remember the wheelbarrow. We had a big shed. Go into the shed, take the wheelbarrow out, start digging. You played third base, had a rake. You're raking third base.
Took care of your house.
Yep. Make sure there's no rocks that shoot you in the face and anything like that. Yeah. So, but yeah, I know exactly what's going on. It's cool that to see this it's still going on here.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and that's what it is. And then you get to the crazy parents, and then the travel ball, and then the drip.
The drip. You know, the cool thing is so this is kind of God's giving me a second chance, so to speak, to coach again, because I've got a 12-year-old and a 25-year-old, so you can do the math. And so with Brock, you know, all the parents and myself, you know, you got to do this, you got to do that, you know, you got to, and everybody's going to go into the MLB or whatever the case it may be, and, you know, my kid's going to miss out. And then testosterone kicks in, and it's a different world.
Especially at 12.
Yeah.
And it's the testosterone, the emotions. I've had several. I'm going to tell you right now, out of the 11 kids I had on my team this year, 7 of them had a breakdown.
Yeah.
Mental. And would just start crying. And not, again, they don't understand that what's going on, because it's a real deal. You know, they're going through changes. You know, and then we sit back and what's going on? And then we go, are we a psychiatrist? Or are we a coach here? What's going on here? You know, and you take you punch in the face, and it just drains you. It drains you every day.
It does. I got to tell you a story.
Go ahead.
So this last weekend, we're playing in a tournament. So we're playing to get into the championship game, right? Just got to win one, right? And so things aren't going really well for us. So we're getting a little frustrated. We're making some dumb errors and things. And this kid hits just a little infield pop fly to the third baseman. There's a man on first and second. And we're like, all right, we're going to get out of this. Double play, no, you know, whatever. We're going to make an out. And the third baseman just muffs it. And so everybody's froze, right? Because that's what the rule is. You freeze on a pop fly. So I'm like, you know, step on third, go to second. And I look. And the second baseman, who's 12 years old, is looking up at a helicopter. I almost lost my mind.
Yeah.
I almost lost my mind. And I realized, okay, you got to stop, take back. You know, you can't do what, you know. So I was like, and I turned around to Brock, and I was like, he was looking at a helicopter. I said, I know he was looking at a helicopter. You know, it just, how do you look at a helicopter at 12 years old?
You know, it happens. Believe me, nothing surprises me anymore.
He did kind of lose it on that left fielder there for a second. That ball, he hit that one out there, and it landed. It almost hit him in the foot.
My gosh.
Oh,
and
Dad was
all
like,
you had to
dear
do was
Lord,
fall forward, and it would hit you in the head.
Yeah.
You know, just have a little.
I'm going to see now, how old are you right now? What, 52, 53?
I'm 58.
58. Yeah. Look great.
Well,
Look
thanks.
great.
Thanks.
You're 51.
He's been working out.
I think a tad. And it's him, not me. I'm not working out. As you can tell.
He can show you a thing or two.
But now you're 58. I'm 52, and you're coaching younger kids, and especially you coach older kids too.
Sure.
Is it me? I probably already know the answer to this, but baseball IQ is non-existent anymore. I don't, because the reason why I think kids don't watch baseball. No. They don't. I mean, if they do, they play video games and that's it.
Right.
You know, they don't watch the baseball anymore. They don't see the game itself. It's, I'm going to like Acuna because he's hitting so much and he's flashy. He's got the drip, and that's what happens. And baseball IQ, the simple stuff just shuts down. And it's like, what? And it honestly, it's the same way in travel. Travel ball, you figure, the kids that are going to the next level, travel ball players, they got good IQ. Well, I'm going to say they do, but there's still a lot of lack of baseball IQ with those kids, but especially rec ball, and it's upsetting because I had a coach with me a couple years ago, ex-professional football player. I'm not going to say it too. We'll tell him later on. But he was like, "What is going on?" Like he's intense, and he was like, "What's happening?" I go, "Dude, they don't know the game." What do you mean? I said, "Well, your son is just peaks and valley better than everyone else,
right?
And he understands baseball." But other kids out there just are not getting it. They don't watch the game. They're not sitting down with dad and, hey, what would you do on this play and what would you do on that play? Right. Not the same anymore. And the only thing is they play the video games. And it's like, let's hit a home run.
Yeah,
let's hit a home run.
No, it is very frustrating. And oftentimes I say the baseball IQ is below the pitcher's mound. And it's really, it's very frustrating. In particular, after this game, I'm like, guys, everybody wants to go look at Game Changer. Here's my stats. Here's what's going on. And we've got $8,000 worth of bats, and we've got 2 hits.
Did you listen to the last episode?
He didn't listen to it. No, he didn't.
I said that. It's great. I said that at one of my tournaments, too. I walked in there. I go, hey, boys, we got $10,000 worth of bats and 2 hits. We're doing something awesome here. This is great. Parents were dying laughing. I go, and we're the idiots because we're buying that $500 bat because why? It looks cool.
That's right.
Dad, it's got this color on it. It's got this. It's going to hit
the crayon or the Hyperfire.
Victus pencil.
The Victus pencil. Yeah.
They should have been up there. You guys
never seen a hit.
They didn't even listen to the last.
They didn't, dude. I tell you what, you guys have
we were
to.
doing this. We listened to 4 on the way.
Okay.
On the way up.
Yeah.
Or over, I should say. On the way.
Well, let's take it back, Troy. You said you got started because Bill knew that you had a history of baseball. But what did you do? Like, how'd you come up? You played some college ball.
Played a little bit, yeah. I blessed enough to play at a through high school and did pretty well, and went to a Division II school called Columbus College. It's Columbus State now in Columbus, Georgia. We were a really, really good team. Number 1, number 2 in the nation all year. Went to the College World Series. Troy State ended up beating us in the last game, which was kind of fun to have that opportunity. I remember, so I was number 18, and we were standing there in the dugouts, and I kept hearing, A18, 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 and finally I was like, that's
you.
Yeah, that's me. I turned around, and there was like 3 kids leaning over the dugout, and they're like, hey, you sign this? I was like, me? You want me to sign that? Sure. Threw the ball down. I was like, I just signed it and threw the ball back up. So that was pretty cool. But that's pretty much.
Who'd they think you were?
I don't know. They were very disappointed when they found out that I, really.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you want to have a catch?
Yeah, I thought he was Frank. Yeah, Frank Thomas. But so anyway, so we did that, and then transferred over to Auburn as an invited walk-on.
Oh, wow.
And played there for just a half of a season. Really didn't even get to an official at bat, I guess. I messed my rotator cuff up, and. So
what position did you play?
I was an outfielder.
Okay, very cool.
So the story, is so I was supposed to replace Bo Jackson.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I know. So,
didn't work.
No, nobody replaces Bo. But so he had gotten in trouble when he took the trip to Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and so he became ineligible.
Yes.
And so it opened up a spot in the outfield. And so we Columbus College, we beat Auburn pretty bad, and I had a pretty good game that game. And afterwards, I went to Coach Hal Barrett, and I said, "Hi, Coach." And he said, "Hi." And I told him, I said, "I really wanted to come play for Auburn, but you guys really didn't have any interest." And he said, "Why don't you come play now?" And so anyway, that's how I got over there.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so it was a pretty good deal. But anyway,
was Frank Thomas there when you came in?
Frank came in right after. So Frank was, I guess, a junior when I was a freshman.
Okay.
And I went and saw him play baseball, and he was as big as a junior as he was now.
Nice.
He's just always been that big.
He was always been one of my favorite baseball players.
Big Hurt. He was just a big, soft, nice kid. And our second baseman, Trip Pitts, he said, you got to come see this guy. He's gonna make it, and whether it's football, basketball, or baseball, he's going to be in the pros. And so after one of our practices, we went and watched him play. And so anyway, it was a pretty cool deal. So it was fun to have that opportunity. But yeah, I didn't replace Bo.
You know what though? That's awesome to get there. Yeah, I mean, listen, hey, you played, you practiced, you were there with D1. I mean, D1 baseball, man. That's what we want. The idea, like on the last podcast, was saying, your goal is to get to high school baseball, play high school baseball. If you make it further, God bless you. Yeah. I mean, we even talked about in another episode here about the portal now.
I don't understand it, but I do.
It's ugly.
Yeah.
It's really ugly. So what they're doing now is teams aren't even looking at high school kids anymore.
Really?
They're just first of all, they're looking for the portal. They're looking for the portal to see what the kid's going to be. Right, what kid can we take that's already played college baseball? They'll go D1 first. Then they'll go down to D2, or D3, and then JUCO, or JUCO and whatever. They'll look at those kids first in the portal. Then they'll take them, and if then they go, well, maybe we have a couple extra here. Hey, that high school kid is pretty damn awesome. We'll go grab him. But I have friends of mine that their kids are seniors in the basketball, and they told them straight out, hey, we're not even looking at high school kids until spring, late spring. Really? You may be graduated by then.
I'm darned.
Yeah, so he's doing a gap year. There's a school up in Connecticut that is strictly just for basketball, and it's all about basketball. I forgot the name of the school. I wish I remembered it, but
it's like an IMG, I guess.
He actually got accepted to IMG Academy, and they didn't go. But it was a gap year. IMG was his high school one that he could have went to.
Yeah, he's good, dude.
Yeah, he's no joke. Yeah. And my son's always like, Dad, can I go to IMG? I'm like, no. Absolutely
It's only
not.
$68,000 a year.
Yeah, I know.
For middle school.
Well, a good friend of mine owns the, I don't know if he owns it anymore, but he was he owned the Smoothie King in IMG Academy. We may have to have him online one day. We'll call him up. It's Fat Mitch. You know who you are, fatty.
That's got to be something. But what was like college ball like when you played, Troy?
Totally
was it laid back compared to now? I mean, were you getting up at 5 a.m. for workouts?
Yeah.
And how many?
That was to keep us from drinking.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't realize it at first, but whenever I quit playing, I said, no, ever tell me to work out again or what time. Because, we had to be up at 5:30. We had to be in the gym at 6. And then we did that, and then we would take a shower, and then go to our classes, and then we would come back and grab something to eat, and then we were on the field from about 1 till 6.
And then you got to study, and then
we
make sure
had
that.
To study, and we had some tutors and those kinds of things. But no, it was nothing like NIL or anything.
Yeah.
We would come in, and we had our uniforms, and you just put them in your locker, and you came back the next day, and they were clean. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I guess just a different world these days. The guy that is coaching the head coach for our travel team played for UT, and so he's just telling me all this stuff, and he plays rugby for UT, and he's getting all this stuff on all these shoes and everything, and I'm like, man, it's this different world.
Well, that's exactly what it comes down to too, even with the NIL deals. Kids, and also how they select kids for their school. Mm-hmm. They look at their social media, and they'll say, "Hey, this kid's got 200,000 followers."
Come on,
I'm telling you, that's how they pick them. Because also, Nike, Adidas, all these shoe companies are also major sponsors for them. I think it's Nike that does UT. I'm almost positive it's Adidas that does. Yeah, Adidas does Louisville. So they'll look at the person's, and because the reason why my daughter's going to college for that, she goes to UK, and she goes there for media arts.
Yeah.
So she's out there with helping people out with platforms of trying to push, especially sport kids. Mm-hmm. It's such a big business now because now Nike sponsors UT. They're going to go, well, wait a second. Well, these guys are good, but let's get more clicks, more people. It's more advertising of Nike shoes. It's a crazy, crazy deal right now. And it blew my mind when someone told me about this. A high school kid was telling me about it. He was a catcher. I forgot, I think in Independence High School. And he was telling me about it going, oh, yeah, they're looking at your social media. And if you have over 200,000 people, followers or whatever, for Facebook, TikTok, all this other fun stuff, if they add them all up and they go, well, that's 200,000 people that we're just going to go touch right now. So it's a monster business right now, and it's kind of crazy.
Well, Brock, I remember watching highlight films of you when you were playing football.
Yeah.
Was it like 9th grade, 8th grade, something like that? And that was new at the time. It was probably
Huddle?
almost 10 years ago, something like that.
That's right.
So I remember that was cutting edge. But when you were playing, you were thinking about playing in college and stuff. Did you care about the social media? Were you involved in that? Were you trying to make some sort of click audience or people that were keeping up with you?
I did for women. But I never really thought about the college portion of it. I don't know.
He's honest.
Yeah, we didn't have.
He's a Hart.
Atta boy. Good job, Dad.
There wasn't. Obviously, you didn't have the NIL or any of that stuff. So I don't know how much they looked at social media presence unless they were looking for something bad. But I do remember my buddy Cade Mays. He did the huddle thing, and I mean, he had like hundreds of thousands of views on this huddle where they'd go in and he'd throw some dude on his head or whatever, and they'd go and like kind of take snapshots of it, like during his games. I didn't have anything. I think I had one where I annihilated a guy in the back, picked him up on a punt return on a block or a missed block at the beginning, and that got like 15 views, and I think both my grandparents and a couple other people, and yeah, that was about it.
And the neighbor.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of people looking at my stuff.
Yeah, well,
So you're saying you're single?
No, not anymore. I was at the time.
So Brock,
things have changed.
You
here.
played football. What position did you end up playing?
I was a safety and a wide receiver.
Very
A
cool.
white receiver. Yeah, I played safety.
Nice. Very nice. That's great. That's
Yeah.
awesome, man.
It was fun.
Did you play college ball too, or no?
I did. In baseball, I played in my first semester over at Volunteer State up in Gallatin. It's pretty close to here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very
yeah.
cool. What position you playing baseball?
I was a center fielder in high school. In college, I realized I was slow, and they moved me to right and left, so I kind of bounced around a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
They moved you right. He had a really good arm.
There you go. Throw him in right field.
I'm slow too.
Yeah. Did you pitch it all too?
They tried to transition me a little bit in college. I could throw hard. I had no control.
Yeah. Well.
So,
But that's
fear
how it is
factor.
now.
Yeah,
That's where it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
How fast you can throw. Don't worry about it. Where it goes and velo, exit velo, and all that other fun stuff now. It blows your mind when you're looking at this stuff now. Because like back when we played, we had the green Eastern bat. And
That was the one I had. The green label East, and it had the rubber handle. You cut it off and you put tape around it.
Absolutely.
The athletic tape. That's what you did.
And then right after that, the Black Magic.
I think I was out by that
All
time.
right.
it was
Black
that by that
Magic
time.
was the next one. That was like, oh boy, gotta have the Black Magic.
Well, Troy, being old school, having all this vintage experience and going through it with Brock, surely you don't have your youngest son doing any baseball drip, right?
I don't even know what drip is.
I was about to say, I was kind of on the advent of it. You'll know what he's talking about here in a second. So I had the chest protector and the kidney protector because I couldn't catch the ball at third. And so Dad was nervous because that was right around whenever people were getting drilled in the chest and
Well, you could
having
catch.
heart
I
attacks
just,
and stuff.
It was the bat was faster than the reaction.
Yep.
So I had that, and it was mandatory for safety reasons. And then I got the wrist protector.
Oh yes, he was.
Which
Drip, yeah,
I didn't
if drip
need.
is
And I had the elbow guard, and I got hit once in the elbow. I didn't wear it in high school because we made fun of the kids that wore it in high school. But I got hit by a 67-mile-an-hour curveball right here, and it was the worst hit I ever had. And then I'm trying to think of what else I had. I begged Dad for years for an arm sleeve
An arm sleeve.
because I saw LeBron had it. And a
If
couple
you
people
don't
were
have an
having it.
arm
Yeah.
sleeve, he was out.
I had to wait till I was 18 until I could afford it myself, and I bought a yellow and white digital camo Evo Shield arm sleeve. And
Which he
wore
immediately
it
took
around.
off because it was useless.
Yeah.
It slipped one right through.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course it does.
The first throw, it just goes right off your arm like a banana peel.
Yeah.
That they were before we went on. They were talking about. They said the worst one is the sliding mitt.
Yeah.
I said you had some stories about that.
Dude.
Yeah, these sliding mitts. God.
So they get on first base. Half of them, they're just happy to be on first, right? And I'm like, okay, the object here is to score, not to just get to first. You got to get second, third, and get to home. And you know, third base coach is over there giving all the signs, and they're not looking because they're trying to put this oven mitt on with this ginormous thing. It's this Velcro that's like this long that could wrap around your waist.
And you see the kid running half the times because you see it.
No, he can't get it on, you know. And so there was a kid, Huntley Fowler, and I love him to death. And he was at first base, and he was trying to get it. And I just grabbed it and I put it down there, and I said, "Look at the signs."
I love it.
He was like, "Sorry." And his dad's at third, right?
Oh man.
Oh my gosh! And so I asked him, you know, how many of y'all slide head first?
None.
None.
They don't even slide anymore.
No. I mean, what's, you know, so I'm like, what are you wearing this stuff for? And I look at the parents, I'm like, sorry, you know, if they don't slide head first, they can't have it in their pocket.
Yeah, no. You kind of want to. My other assistant coach was like, ban him. No. And meanwhile, he's the first base coach. He's like, he gets mad too, like you.
Yeah,
See, it's not just. I thought it was just us, but no, it's
you're normal.
everywhere. Thank you.
You're normal.
Hey, Brock. So let me ask you something. One of the toughest things I know, youth sports and everything, is your dad being the coach.
Yeah.
Dad coach. You know, I know. And we'll get this to later about about me and my situations that I've had, but I know it's very hard on a kid to have his dad as the coach, because it's also, they're looking at you for guidance, how to deal with dad and how to deal with coach. And if you're screwing around, guess what's going to happen? All the other kids are going to be screwing around, and then dad is hardest on you than anybody else on that field, you know. And my thing is, I always respect myself, and something that I have always said to myself: if someone watched my practice, yes, I'm extremely hard on my son when it's me and him, but when we're at practice, if someone's watching practice that doesn't know the team, I feel I'm successful by saying that. But if they say, I don't even know who the coach's kid is, and that to me was always the toughest thing as a father and as a coach. And I know it's extremely tough on my son dealing with that too, you know, and he knows that sometimes I snap and I have a very hot temper. But how did you deal with it going through basically playing sports all your life with him?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Because about the time, you know, I was figuring out how to be a ball player, he's trying to figure out how to be a dad and how to navigate and do all that stuff. So I think it took us a little bit when I was younger. Blake started, or my younger brother who's 12, he started a little bit earlier than I did. Dad wanted to make sure that I kind of had the fundamentals down before I started. And so having that basis, I think, helped. But I think, yeah, we just kind of worked through it. And eventually, I think by the time I was in high school, we kind of had it separated to where, you know, he'd kind of chew me out a little bit whenever we were on the field, especially not for anything like, if it was like a hard-earned, like kind of like effort play and stuff like that. I mean, I never got in trouble for anything. But if it was kind of something stupid or I didn't give enough effort, he got on me. But, yeah, we navigated that. And then eventually he kind of became my coach at the field. And then we got home, and it was like, we started having conversations like, okay, here's what you can do to get better. Like, these are the things. And so it was tough there. And then it was kind of like a pick me up, hit me in the butt. Like, you know, cool. We're going to, kind of get this together.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Because I know always the toughest thing is I see if I'm coaching, and even if you, like, you know, there's a time and a place that we're done coaching. We're done coaching our kids. And I know it's the toughest thing in the world is to coach our own kids.
Sure.
And because there's a timeline there that all of a sudden that you go, I'm not listening to him anymore. He's bitching at me. You can't do it anymore. So then when you get to that other point, when you sit on the outside, when you're on the outside of the fence, and he takes a swing, it's so hard for parents to go, hey, watch your eye, or you going, where's dad? Is he looking at me?
Yeah.
And then as a coach, you go, how many times you don't want those kids staring at parents?
Right.
You're like, I'm here. Let's go.
Yeah, that's true.
There was a pivotal point I do remember, because my mom would always be like, oh, you know, Troy, you're being a dick, you know, whatever. And I was like, you're right, he is being a dick. You know, he's just being mean. And I probably, like you said, whenever you get a little bit of testosterone in your system and stuff like that, and she would say that same stuff to me after the game, you know, he's being hard on you, and he's being an asshole, whatever. And it's like, you know what, he's not being a dick. He's trying to help me. He wants me to succeed. You know, we're going to get together. We're going to figure out what I can do to be better.
Nice.
And it's crazy, too, because it's springboard, because now I work for him. And we have that same sort of relationship.
Well, we've coached together.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, we coached together. He's coached his little brother. But we have a rule, and I don't know if it's a good rule or not, but coach is coach and dad is dad. And so when we'd come off the field and we were in the car, I would say, "Boy, your coach was a real dick to you today, wasn't he? He was riding your ass. What? And what do you think was going on? What do you think?" And so we had this discussion, this conversation that was outside of the training. You learn so many life lessons on the field, and that was always been. I've been coaching my kids ever since they were born for success.
Nice. Did you feel you coached Brock differently than your youngest son now?
I don't know. That maybe be a question to ask. I don't think so. I've always been. Mental errors are unacceptable.
Yeah.
Physical errors all day long. That's fine. Hustle. If you don't hustle, that's unacceptable. So those were the only kind of 3 rules. Just give it your best and know what you're going to do when the ball's hit to you.
Yeah.
And so I don't think I really treat Blake any differently. I guess the one thing is there's not that anxiety associated with it, because I know right now the kid that may be the best kid is not going to be necessarily when they get 15, 16, they get a little hair under their arms, and things change.
I always say when the nuts drop, the game's different.
It
really
totally
is
different. It's just, and that's what I keep telling all these parents, and they're like, "My kid can't throw or my kid can't run." I'm like, "Dude, just wait."
Yeah.
Just wait.
Yeah.
He's got it. There's some athleticism there. Wait. We'll see what
It's
happens.
going to pop. I love what you said earlier too about the fundamentals of the game. I mean, that's huge, because kids nowadays, they don't have those fundamentals.
I think they're especially inept, and just from coaching and watching the games and stuff, but at base running.
Oh my God.
Base running seems to be just.
I have a whole full practice of stealing, getting leads, secondary leads, and base running.
It's not, but they still don't do it, though.
Oh my God. Remember that. Everyone who's listening to this is on my team. Get your base running skills down, because you're in trouble. My team's always played defense and speed. That's my game.
That's right.
What are they struggling at base running? Like, what are they missing?
Well, for me, on my side, what are they missing?
Yeah.
They're missing the signs. They're too busy with the drip. They're running, and they don't want to slide. They don't want to get dirty. They don't know how to cut a bag. It's amazing. They're afraid to get off the bag for a lead. And they're afraid to dive back with the right hand to first base. And they're afraid to getting hit with a baseball when someone tries to pick them off. And they're afraid of a catcher trying to hit them with the baseball off a third. And you're afraid to get dirty. It's just, it's mind-numbing, because when we were growing up, what do? We were like, "Mom, look, clean my uniform."
It's dirty. It's dirty. It's maddening.
Well, when's that there's got to be a backlash here. Maybe we're starting it, but when are we going to have coaches that say we're not doing these drips? We're going to focus. We're going to be stripped down. The parents would probably like it because they save a lot of money.
No, they already bought them.
Yeah.
They already bought it. So it's unfortunate. They already bought the stuff. So if you say none of it, guess what? The other team's got it. The other team is all flashy, and look how cool we are. And if you come out there with just nothing, peer pressure is a bitch, man. It really is.
Unless you beat the crap out of them, though.
Yeah, I mean, that would be funny to do a social media on that.
Yeah.
Just like the basic guys, just the fundamental, the IQ guys, just going out there and crushing them. I mean,
but I think at that level, the kids with the IQ are already playing a high-level travel ball.
That's true.
And that's what it comes down to.
Travel. There's 2 kinds of travel teams. There's the true travel team, and then there's the rec league team. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't make the travel, and then they formed their own, and it's a kind of a mediocre rec team, and they're a travel team by name.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Are the travel teams doing all this dressing up and drip?
More than ever.
So
and
it's
coaches are doing it
ubiquitous.
too. I got to be honest, not my son's coach on travel. See, I'm very, very guilty with all this mess right here. Because if we heard the last episode, it's awful. My son also plays rec ball. He also plays that summer ball, and he's also on a travel team too.
Oh gosh.
And it's well, it led into each other. Long story short, 2 years ago we put a team together. We had played rec ball, And Mike, that was on the show yesterday, put a travel team together. He wanted to play travel. I'm like, well, I'm not doing it. Screw you, ain't doing it. But then we had our rec ball team. Then we had the summer team, the Cal Ripken team. And we were successful, very good ball players. So it's almost like in what's going to happen here soon with your other son, if he wants to play high school baseball. High school baseball now is when a coach comes up to him and goes, hey, they're trying out for school ball. Hey, where do you play? Well, I play rec baseball. Okay. Where do you play? Well, I play the elites of elites of elites over 3 diamond. Hey, let me see what you got. So the attention goes to the travel ball kid. He not really. I mean, when you get about 50, 60 kids together, it's kind of hard to really get down to the meat and potatoes. But if you know this travel ball kid, you think it might be just as good as that rec ball kid, but that travel kid's seeing top line pitching. The rec kid is not seeing the top line. He may see one here and there,
sure,
but the travel kid is playing a lot higher level. So the coach will always look at that travel ball player over the rec ball player.
Right. Yeah.
So also, too, if he's playing travel, that coach doesn't have to coach him that much. He can sit back and coach the game. So that travel kid knows. Rec ball, it's a little difficult, and they try to get to that spot, and they go, take a bigger lead. Okay. It's like travel ball player will understand
sure,
the nuances of the game,
yeah,
and that's where, to me, so long story short, got to that position. We did that travel with Mike, and we ended up, a couple of the other guys left Mike, and they took that whole team to go to another local team because it was logistics. It was right in our backyard, opposed to 3 towns over, especially in traffic, and it's just hell. So we're going to open up our own team. And I was one of the coaches, and I told Mike, and it was kind of a little dicey situation. Mike's still a great friend of mine, but I told him, hey, it's a logistic thing. I don't want to drive that far. Half these parents don't want to. And technically, I got 99% of the kids on that team that Mike had were on my summer team. We were successful again. So we took that team, we were putting it together, and I was watching some of the kids that we were cutting, and they were better than my son. And it's a big thing with me with nepotism. It killed me, but I said to the coaches, with 3 coaches of ours, I said, I got to cut my son. He goes, what? I go, I got to cut my son. I can't have him play at this level that these guys are some good ball players, and we're cutting kids that are better than my son. And I go, it's not really fair to them. And I'm really big with nepotism, and I don't play that. And he goes, so you're gone too? I said, I'm gone. I'm just going to sign. I'm putting my kids. Mentally, he broke 2 years ago. He broke. He wasn't right. It was a lot of pressure on him and everything like that. So he broke mentally. I cut him. I had to quit. I cut myself too, and I was playing rec ball. Okay, then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do rec ball. We're just going to do that, and then I'm going to do the summer team again, and just have fun. Yeah, that's it. Then it gets closer to December, and some other friends like, hey, come join this team. I'm like, oh, I ain't doing it. Screw you. I ain't doing it. Oh, they need a catcher. My son's a catcher. Nope, still ain't doing it. But then I find out some of the kids that I cut that I'm still friends with from the middle team, they went and played travel ball, but I expected them to be at rec again next year. So now I lose those kids for the Cal Ripken team, and I go, I'm not going to have enough players. Okay, we'll do it. We'll try out. My son tried out and made that team with them.
Oh, good.
But I already said at the time, I already committed to coaching rec ball, so I can't just bail out on them now. This is January.
Sure.
The draft is February. The picking your players is February.
Right.
So I had that, and unfortunately, I said, you know what? Since travel ball is more expensive, he's going to play travel ball. He'll play travel ball, and secondary would be the rec ball. So he missed some rec ball games, and that's fine. I already knew that right off the bat. And then, then they go, well, we need someone to coach the summer team, and I'm like, well, I'm going away, and I don't, they're like, come on. I'm like, schedule lined up. Yeah, sure, why not? And then I took 11 regular players for this Cal Ripken team, and I took 4 taxi squad players. So we're doing 3 tournaments, 3 of them. So you have the 3 tournaments, and I have the 11 there automatically, but every one of those other games, we rotate another one of the taxi kids to make it 12. And my kid is a taxi kid because he's still playing travel ball too. So it's, it's coming down the pipe. Yeah. I mean, my wife hates me for it. I can tell you that right now.
Among other things.
Yeah, And I said, wife, honey, I love you. You know that. I got to give you a plug. You tell me so much. You get mad at me.
Body Works Massage.
Body Works Massages.
I saw that. Yeah, you guys got a new sponsor.
She's a sponsor. Yeah. Yes. Not that she's my wife, but she is pretty much the best massage therapist in Middle Tennessee. So get ready. You're gonna get ready to do travel ball with your son and doing all these teams. So get ready.
What are you gonna do, Troy? Like, what lessons have you learned from your experience, Brock experience, and do you care? Are you just gonna let it roll and see what happens, or are you gonna take a different approach?
Yeah, I do
what
care.
he plays.
I think the kids are under an enormous amount of pressure. The game's not a game anymore; it's almost a profession. It's supposed to be fun, and my freshman year of college, we played 97 games. Some of these kids are playing.
Oh my God!
They're playing 90. They're playing a college schedule at 9, 10, 11 years old. I think you should play multiple sports.
Yes.
I think that each sport, it doesn't trump the other, but it works off the other. Basketball works with football. Football works with baseball. It just, each one builds on the other. So we've always been believers. Brock played football, baseball, basketball. Blake's doing the same thing. At some point in time, you just kind of got to pick.
Yeah.
But it's usually, somewhere, second year of high school or something like that, sophomore.
Well, I think when you went to high school growing up, I think it was okay to do it later on to make that decision. And unfortunately, I think for your other son, Blake, right, is his name? So Blake's got to make that decision sooner, because what's happened is other coaches will go, hey, we really want him over here. We want him over here. Right. If you don't come here full time, the arms race, as we said it last time. But the bottom line is, with all of this, where does it lead to? Beer league.
Beer league, baby.
Beer league.
So I want to shift gears. Well, you know a lot about baseball, and frankly, I think you should have played hockey, because you need a good enforcer. Somebody likes
he
to
would
fight.
knock someone's teeth out.
You would have been a great enforcer. But talk about volleyball a little bit. You spend a lot of time doing travel volleyball, and that's a real big thing right now with Brock.
I hear snickering over here, Brock.
Yeah, my daughter, she's just a phenomenal athlete. Just everything she did, she was just picked it up and went. And so volleyball was probably the thing that she was the least good at. Everything else she was just smoking, and she's like, I want to do volleyball. I was like, what? Volleyball? Where'd that come from? We didn't even have volleyball.
She hit like 5 home runs or something like that her freshman year in softball.
I mean, she's phenomenal.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Varsity.
And fast as wind, had an arm. She just was. She's just a really good athlete. She's just like Brock, and she was fast. I mean, like, she would outrun the football players to the point where Brock would say, have her, because when they were running sprints, she was like, but anyway, volleyball is the most humbling, because I've never walked into a convention center before and looked around and thought, I am the smallest person. The smallest. I mean, the moms, they're all just huge, big, tall people, volleyball people, and so yeah, and it's kind of the same thing, With
the parents nuts too on some of them.
Everybody thinks their kid's going to be somebody, and they may. Somebody's got to make it, but yeah, I mean, the parents, I think, are, and maybe they're so vested in it. I'm chill now, because it's just, I'm like, it's going to happen. It's either going to happen or it's not. There's nothing that you can do that's going to make your kids hit the ball like Barry Bonds. He either is or he's not. He's or Frank Thomas or Bo or whatever. You can put them in situations to where they get reps and they get better and they're a little more polished. But I don't care how polished you are if you just don't have that. And that's something special. It really is. It's and Carly had it, but and so did Brock. But with most, like the kids, when they get in college, it's like this becomes a job. It goes from being fun to being a job.
It's burnout.
Yeah.
It's burnout. It's a real deal.
Yeah.
Level of craziness in the sports that you've coached. Highest crazy. What sport?
Football.
Football. Okay. Why?
Because, and Brock probably talked about this, but what you guys were 98-0.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
That's intense.
We had the most legit middle school team, probably, I would wager to say, in the Southeast.
Really?
Yeah,
it was incredible.
Catholic football team, middle school football.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and we had a guy named Mike Ernst that he would just bring the house. We were just in his son were breaking people's legs like what he put
one
three
game
quarterbacks out.
Seymour, he broke the starting quarterback's arm, the second quarterback's wrist, and the third quarterback he broke his femur.
Oh.
They quit.
They forfeited in the third quarter. This is all before, right after halftime.
Oh my God.
But yeah. That was crazy.
They were unbelievable. But I mean, the kids off that team, I think everybody who started on offense went somewhere.
Really?
D1 or D2.
Okay.
I mean, it was unbelievable.
Good. And the parents were crazy. Like a lot
The
of
tailgating and stuff, I'm sure, going on
What
outside.
were they doing? What was so crazy about them?
yelling. I mean, football's just a different deal. And hockey, I think is no, but they yelled a lot at the refs. There was a lot of I think that just yelling at the refs, and it really was uncomfortable for the kids. I don't think parents really realize how uncomfortable it is for the kids when you see.
Well, it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing,
Yeah.
Bart. When you're out there and you see Dad throwing a tantrum, you're like, that's not my dad.
Yeah.
He only got thrown out of one football game.
Uh-oh. Did you? Let's hear it.
I didn't get thrown out,
Put him on the spot, Brock.
but I
love
got
it.
I got a penalty. Remember? I said something like referees shouldn't make that much of a difference in the game.
Yeah.
And so this was at halftime, and he threw the flag at
Halftime.
Yeah, and so we had a penalty.
Is that all you said?
Pretty much. It was. I mean, I really.
What do you think, Brock? You think Dad's lying?
No, Dad wore a lot of hats on that team, but he was a hydraulic specialist.
Okay.
For the most part, we
I was
were responsible
water boy,
for the water.
Yeah, I
and
did a lot
so
of
it
water
was
stuff.
funny because the water boy was out there yelling at this ref. The head coach at that time was like,
Yeah.
Troy, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, Dickie Summerhead goes, really, Troy? And I was like, he's a.
All right, now that's why you got
Yeah.
the 15-yard.
Yeah, but I didn't say anything to him like that. In a bar situation, whatever, you can kind of be. But when you're in front of the kids,
Yeah.
you just.
But it's so hard not to snap. It is so hard. Then you go, if I snap like this, everything I work for is down the tubes.
From a theatric standpoint, like I told our coach yesterday, I said, I'm going to throw a little bit of a fit here. And so after the game, they came in and we got beat. We got beat pretty bad. And we'd made like 8 errors. And, it just, there was just a lack of hustle. I don't know if they were tired or whatever. But when they came in, they were just the sloths, And I said, you're not that sad. You played this way. You earned this loss. And so get out of this dugout now. And I took a Gatorade bottle and I threw it and I said, we're looking at helicopters while we could be turning double plays.
And did he go, hey, look, there's another?
Yeah, and they skeed it out. But that's about the most. I think that there's a time to not to scare the kids, but to shock them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, whoa.
Yeah, that's not really normal.
Yeah, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
Because you can only ask somebody so many times. And like you said,
You feel like a broken rep.
get a lead, a little more, get a little more. I got you. You're good. Get a little more.
Where's the ball going? Okay, who's got it? 2 outs. Who wants the last out? What are we doing? How are we doing? Yeah. It's draining.
But they're 12.
I know. That's exactly what it is. They're
12.
still 12. Half of them still don't know if they're going to have puberty or not, and they're still in that area, and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Then you got the kid with the phone. You're like, get the phone out of the dugout, man. Shut that thing off.
I'll tell you a story. I'm sorry.
Hey, no, go. That's it.
So we're in basket. You're getting ready to show it. Aren't
Yeah.
you?
All right. So you were.
That's what
You've
it was.
gotten in trouble for losing your cool, but you've also been a hero, right? Set this up.
This is
Where
great.
is this?
So we're at Grace Academy. I don't know, about a month ago at a tournament, and so we're literally going to go from here to baseball, and so we're in between basketball games, and we're over there in the far left, myself and Benji Schuler and a couple of the coaches, and Benji is Heath Schuler's brother. Benji and Heath played at UT, and so we were just kind of, anyway, he coaches, we were just, the basketball, we were just chilling out, and so all of a sudden we realized that somebody, a fan, a father, has come out onto the court, and he's yelling at this referee, as you will see here in a second.
There he goes.
Yeah.
There you go. What is he saying here now?
He's saying if you're not going to call a foul, and then he grabs the ref.
Oh my God. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at him. This is, I mean, imagine that's your dad.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So that's me putting him in a headlock.
Yeah. And that's the enforcer, right?
There you go. He was taking care of a little business.
Yeah, and this guy's saying, I'm Alcoa Police. I'm Alcoa Police. And
I'm out cold.
Alcoa.
Oh, Alcoa.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm Alcoa Police. And he said it after the fourth time. I said, I'm going to throw this guy. Because he'd say, I'm Alcoa Police. I said, what do you want me to do with him? What do you want me to do with him?
Yeah.
I'm throwing him. And so
Throwing him.
So I threw him back because I had him in between my legs.
Oh man.
And I didn't want him to come up and give me an uppercut or anything like that because the guy was a little feisty. That's me right there in the blue shirt.
There you are.
And that's Benji. Watch Benji just kind of push him over to me.
So, you take him.
So he says right here, I'm Alcoa, and so I just pitch him right now, I think. And
so she gets in your face. She's like, "Hey,
Yeah.
hey, you're out of line."
yeah, she's
You're the guy.
She's like, that's my husband. Don't do that. And I,
You're like, your husband's an asshole.
I said to her very nicely, "Get out of my face."
Yeah, I would have said a little more to it.
Yeah.
You're a hero.
You what? Did you walk out? Did you go like this?
It was kind of funny because the kids thought it was just the greatest thing.
Of course.
You know, the kids thought my son comes over and he's high-fiving me, and
That's awesome.
and yeah, so it was one of the greatest. It was like 10:30, and we'd won a basketball game, and I got in a fight. You know,
Now, was that father on the other team or your team?
no, I don't know who that dude was.
Oh, you still no idea.
No,
so okay.
no, but he's in jail. Or
Yeah.
they did arrest him and such.
To be fair, it was a terrible call.
So you would have came out too.
I don't know what I would have done, but the girl got thrown to the ground and he called it a travel, and I was like, that was my first thought. I was like,
bad.
oh my God, he called that a travel, and I was like, oh, that guy's coming from the stands.
So he beat you out of the stands. You were like, no way. Bullshit.
Well,
The kids, if you, I tell you, we were talking about how the kids, if you're watching this thing, there's two kids right up here in the stands, and you just watch them freak out. I mean, it's just, the parents are just,
Well, something these kids probably haven't seen ever.
so no. I mean, I really hadn't seen this either, but the three kids up here,
They're probably chirping them.
Yeah.
Get back in. Go get a ham sandwich, you fat
Watch
bastard.
them. They run away.
he does roll like a bowling ball once he tosses him.
yeah, I mean, they're
Look at
in
the
the
kid up
court.
top,
Yeah,
see?
they're just,
That's horrible. Well, you see that more and more, though. I mean, you see these viral videos. It's like it's a tough job to be a ref for this. You know, I mean,
refs are tough. It's tough.
it is tough. It's,
We'll
but people, God's great, beer's good, and people are crazy, right?
Yeah.
There's a kind of song like that, and it's true. But we didn't really have any issues, parents-wise.
One or two, I mean, but nothing. Kids or parents that were like really, really, really hard on their kids, but not like
Yeah,
anything with the umpires or anything really. Well, nah, there wasn't anything really
No,
crazy.
we didn't really have anything like that. That was
Nothing that came
that
to
was
blows like that or anything.
No,
Yeah.
no, nothing.
I'm sure, like, oh, my kid should be playing over your kid. Blah, 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 blah. What are some of those parents?
I had some lady, Carly was playing softball. I was thinking about this, and she wanted her kid to play pitcher. And I kept saying, she's going to get hurt. I don't have her in the outfield because I'm protecting her. She doesn't, you take her home and teach her how to protect herself. It's not my, to some extent, that's not my job. I can show her these things, but you have to practice to, protect yourself. And so, I don't know. Finally, something happened, and she was all fit to be tied. And after the game, she was up in my face, and my wife, God love her, comes over and goes, "What are you gonna do? Kick his ass?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "What am I supposed to do here?" And so the husband's standing there, and I'm like, I'm going to kick your ass.
She swings at me once, he's done.
I said, I'm going to kick your ass.
Honey, get away from me.
Yeah, if you don't do something there, so anyway, long and short of it is that yeah.
Well, I think you nailed something there when you said, have your kids practice with your kids. Yeah. And I think that's a huge thing. And I know my first speech to my parents is, hey, I only have your kids for 10 practices. That's 20 hours. I'm not a magic man, and I can't make anything do good in 20 hours, let's be honest.
Right.
But you have to take the time with your kid to have a catch. You have to take the time, take them down to a batting cage. You have to take them out to, if you're playing tennis or shooting a hockey puck or whatever, football, catching passes or running or doing this. Don't expect me to make your kid be a superstar in 20 hours.
Right.
Well, Troy has a batting cage in his basement.
Yeah, we have some stuff, yeah.
Do you really?
It's nice.
Yeah, we've got screens and stuff. It's a, yeah. I mean, yeah,
nice.
it lets them go down and practice and, But yes.
Yeah.
So you're like having private lessons from Dad,
Yeah.
That's nice.
I did quite a bit of hitting and running over to Catholic. I don't know. I guess to
Well,
me,
once you
everything
start
kind of came
driving.
together in high school.
Once you
All of
started
this
driving.
stuff early, like in middle school and stuff like that, to me, it was kind of, you're figuring it out. You're trying to figure out what kind of guy you're going to be or all that stuff. And then once you get in high school, you kind of become that guy. 'Cause that's
Yeah,
when it
once you
starts
started
stinging.
driving.
When you're sitting on the bench, that's when it really hurts in high school.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's a
Not
freshman.
when you're the 10th guy on a travel
Freshman
team.
or sophomore, whenever you. So he got a base hit off of Strider.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
He's hurt now, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not
I
as
think he's
cool.
coming back now.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
It was a lot cooler last year whenever I used to go around and get drunk and tell that story.
I would tell everybody. I have a T-shirt made. I took Strider deep.
yeah, Brock
It was
always.
like a blue.
He always got the base hit. You always knew whenever he came up. And it was like there was always 2 outs and there was somebody in the scoring position. And something had happened. He didn't do what he was supposed to do. And so, anyway, so he's out in right field and I'm just waiting. And so he goes out right field and I like when you're batting, I stand over here, and when you're playing defense, I'm over here. So it's 2 different places.
Yeah.
And so I go get him, and I'm just giving him 4 out in right field. And we're standing there, and he goes, I swear, he goes, wait a second, Dad. And there's this line drive that's hit to him, and he dives and catches it and comes up, rolls, and throws the kid out at second base, who had taken too big of a lead to end the game for him. Were you guys going to regional? Or what?
Yeah, I think so.
To go to regional. And they had 1 out, and they had a man on second and third. And so he doubled them up, and he got up, and I was like, good job, buddy.
Good game.
Good game.
Get some snow cones.
Yeah. This is sophomore year of high school, and so he got the play of the year for that, got an award, and all that kind of stuff. And so,
Due to your coaching, right? Your encouragement.
Yeah, well, I can't remember what it was, but oh gosh, I was upset about it. But he was just like, wait a second.
Shut up, Dad.
He was
Watch
like,
this.
Wait a second.
Let's go. Yeah, it must be. I probably got called out looking or something.
Yeah, you never let the umpire make your decision. You're at bat, but and that very rarely happened. But yeah, we go down the basement and soft toss and hit off the tee and do those kinds of things. So, but I don't think parents do that with their kids.
Nope.
Blake was out last night and I was mowing. But anyway, and he said, "Dad, you want to play pig?" And I didn't. But I did.
Yeah, yes.
He's like, "You want to play pig?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do."
Yeah.
And we ended up having a good time, but I had something else that I was wanting to do.
Yeah.
And I just think there's the kids these days.
And
they're
also, too,
babysat by those.
There's computers and everything,
computers,
iPads, phones.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when he said that he want to play pig, it's the coolest feeling.
Yeah.
That your kid still wants to play. Hey, let's have a catch. Okay, even though if you don't wanna. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
When he comes out and says, "Dad, you want to catch?" I cry every time.
Absolutely.
I did. Yeah. I tear up. I tear up even thinking about it. But that is just the I think about with my dad. I think about with Brock, with Carly, and with Blake. There's something about, hey, you want to catch?
I it's funny. I think we're very similar here. Well, I mean, this is match made in heaven here, right here. Not that, but it's really what's cool with this because we're pretty much the same.
Yeah.
and like with baseball and coaching and how emotional we are with it, you know. And yes, I'll tear up for that, but I always see this one post, like not one, but this, it's sort of like it. I'll go on Facebook and I'm looking through it, and all of a sudden it says, "There's that day that your kid will have his last swing, and the game that he loves, he's not going to play anymore." Yeah. And it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
It stabs you. One other one was one of the biggest ones that, you know, knocked me out. It was a picture of a bucket of baseballs and a note that just said, "I don't need these anymore. These," it's like you're feeling it, right? "I don't need these anymore. These will be better off for someone like you." Like, it's feeling like me saying it, looking at it, it chills me. And it sucks because it's like, this is my last time. Here you go.
Yeah.
Given that bucket of balls, like this, and last night was my last season coaching, and it hurt. But there's going to be a time that you're not going to do that anymore. So that's why take advantage of those times of, "Hey, Dad, can I play pig?" "Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Let's do it." You know, because there's a time he's not going to want it. Almost Cats in the Cradle.
Yeah.
Cats in the Cradle,
same
man.
thing, man.
Yeah. That song, every time that song comes on, my son goes, "Dad, you going to cry?" I'm like, "Damn right, shut up." I crank it up loud.
So I saw that. I mean, I lived it. I watched him play his last game, you know, and I watched my daughter play her last game. And, you know, and then Blake started, you know, so I got that second chance.
Yeah, you were lucky to have
it was really
another
cool.
go-around.
Yeah, so you really appreciate it. I really have a different perspective of the blessing associated with being able to be a coach and meet all the parents. You know, you make all your friends through your kids.
Right here.
Yeah,
This is exactly, you know, how it was, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure your best friends are still from school, from youth sports.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's amazing how it does happen.
And I'm building on it because now I've still got my friends with Brock, and then now I've got them with Blake, and so it's a different dynamic, a different. Well, of course, I'm old, I'm grandpa, you know, but I'm not.
No,
you know, I'm dad.
I wouldn't call him grandpa.
Yeah, but I am. You know, these kids. I mean, these parents are, you know, in their 40s. You know, I'm 18, 20 years older than they are. So it's just different. But I think hockey players are by far and away the best athletes of in any sport.
I kind of agree with you.
Now, Seth played goalie.
I was goalie.
He was a goalie.
I'm not that athletic.
He was an animal.
I don't know. You must be able to stretch.
Yeah, I could. That's one thing I could do. Yeah. So I played hockey, football, baseball, and that was my era. That's what I ended up doing.
And you kept playing until a couple years ago.
Yeah, and I just want to play one more game with my son in beer league.
Oh, cool.
When he comes at it, when he ends up playing one beer league game, then I still keep my goalie equipment. My buddies, matter of fact, a couple of my buddies were down here again this weekend for a hockey tournament. "Hey, you want to play?" I'm like, "Nope." They came down from New York. I'm like, "Nope, I'm retired until my son comes out and plays hockey one game that I will play with him, and that's it. And I'm done."
Yeah.
You know, that's the coolest thing, to play a game with your son.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Yeah, but that's like LeBron and I won't go there, but
yeah,
anyway,
but he sucks.
Yeah. I mean, you know, well, that's a whole nother. That's number 10, right?
Yeah.
From your perspective, like, what were your favorite memories with your dad coaching, and will you be a coach of your kid if you?
Oh yeah, no, I'd love to. Rec ball.
He's a good coach.
I think there's one. You're probably 10 or 11 for the Rangers.
Yeah.
And everybody was kind of learning how to play outfield, and that was still kind of in the age group where you stick to the kids who can't play infield and outfield. And so they were throwing the ball in. Dad took his hat off and slammed it. I remember, and he went, "Hitting the cutoff man is for pussies. Go ahead and throw it all the way to second base." Yeah, that was good.
You know what? You should have been in my game last night. It turned into an in-the-park home run.
Drives me nuts. You know, the kids are running out going, cut. And I'm like, no. You're out there to line it up. You throw through the cutoff man, not to him. It's indefinite. It keeps going. You only cut when the second baseman or the third baseman or the catcher tells you to cut. It's the only time you don't run out going cut. It just there's some it's frustrating, but you know, and then you laugh about it and you love on them, and
Amen.
Yeah, hey man, you're okay. You know, you're learning. This is what you're doing. You
Yep.
know, just
Yeah, our game last night, that's exactly what it was. I mean, I broke down in tears. talking. Not that we lost. I care less. I always tell them, hey, I don't care if you win or lose. Yeah. Just have fun. But I'm going to miss the kids.
Sure.
As much as it was a challenging year, I miss them. I'm going to miss these kids. You know, certain kids, I'm like, you know, I called the kid shot collar. I called him shot. He wasn't paying attention. Like, you know, he's looking at the sky. He's looking at the helicopters.
That's right.
I'm like, hey, talking to you. Hey, I'm going to shot collar you.
You're right. We are a lot alike.
You know? And his mom was like, I love that nickname. So I called him shot collar. But that's also, so you learned a lot of how to coach. Like you just said, watching my dad. Mm-hmm. By you making that statement, that's awesome that you have instilled that into him. Yeah. And he said absolutely he wants to coach too, and later on. And you know, it sounds like you guys got an awesome dynamic. Especially, I'm sure if you're not home, you're going to take your little brother downstairs. Let's go swing the bat.
We've had some good times. Well, especially last year, I had a lot of time off from school, so I got to spend a lot of time with him. This year I wasn't so lucky. But I think baseball teaches you so much about life.
Yeah.
I didn't think so much about just back and like how am I going to attack this stuff. But I mean, I remember going with Dad, and I guess you guys haven't hit this yet, but going to prospect camps. And so that's when I would get really, really nervous in the summers. And we'd drive over to Chattanooga and Lee and stuff. And I'm 15 years old. And I got my learner's permit and stuff, whatever. And I just remember talking to Dad about, I was like, how do you deal with the stress? Like, how do you swing the bat? You got all these college scouts looking at you and stuff like that. And just go up there and do it. Just do it.
Wow. Is that the same thing as a showcase too? The prospect, it is. Okay.
Yeah, showcase. Yeah. I remember we were driving down there, whatever, and he was sitting there with his eyes closed, and I was doing like 85, 140, like whatever. I was running late.
I was praying.
Yeah, that's what he said. I said, "So what are you doing?" He said, "I'm praying." And I'm like, "Why?" And he's like, I hear the RPMs of the engine. Isn't that how fast you're going?
Sometimes you just got to let them do their thing.
Yep. So these prospect things, was it in Florida or was it?
No, I went over a bunch to Lee University. Okay. And then we had a bunch of stuff as it progressed, and then in college too. But at the games and stuff, whenever Strider was pitching, there was always a lot of scouts. I don't know why.
Yeah, figured.
He sucked. I hit him.
Exactly. Went deep.
Brock hit him. Everybody was like, "Who's that kid?
Who's that kid?"
Hey,
1 for 1 with him.
Yeah, they never called. I was like 1 for 5. I think in the career,
but it was a good.
Gotta wear it. Gotta wear it.
Oh,
yeah.
Do any of your kids wear one?
No, not at all. Just wear it. And don't rub it.
No, don't rub it. That's right. Do not rub it. You know, my son, he spun like that, and I was like, "You better get a hit."
Yeah.
Because you just had a chance to get on base. You better get a hit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's they learn a lot.
They have that walk first mentality. I've noticed.
Absolutely.
They want to walk.
Yep.
And they hit secondary every single time.
Well, they ain't running the bases.
Yeah. When Blake gets up, I'm like, "Don't settle for a walk. Go up there and hit." I tell him all the time, if you got 3-0, just swing through it. See if he's going to give you something to hit.
Yeah, he ran like a deer. So did Carly and Blake. I mean, they get on first, they're going to second, going to third, and then looking to but I coached them like that. I mean, that's how we taught them. And when you get a kid that's 10, 11, 12 years old, it's hard to teach that.
Yeah.
You got to anticipate. You got to read the trajectory, read the pitch. Know as soon as if you see it's going into the dirt, you're gone.
Yeah. Get that secondary lead, and if that thing isn't, you're going.
Yeah.
Spin, go.
Like you said, you spend a whole practice trying to teach them where to look on the pickoff move.
Oh yeah. And they're too afraid because all they want to do is get back to that base because that's safe.
Sure.
That's safe.
You'll get a kick out of this. I was talking to Ben the other day about this. He's taking over that Catholic middle school team. So in high school now, what they're doing, I guess it's kind of become more high tech. So they'll take all the pop times from the catchers in the area and they'll average them out. On the first day of practice, they have guys get a lead and get a read off the pitcher and then steal. And if they're under that average time of the pop time, they steal them every time.
They
say this guy's a green light, this guy's a red light.
Wow.
See, isn't that neat?
Analytics for everything.
Wait till AI
high school
gets
ball
involved.
Yeah. Well, I mean, baseball is stats. It is analytics, and there's a thing. It's numbers. Baseball is numbers, and it's a numbers game, and it's gotten so in depth now. But that is real interesting.
Yeah, I know. See, dude, and it's kind of cutting edge. I think they've only done it the last 2 years for it, but I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you got to get the home.
And as catcher, I was a catcher too, and I coach catching camps to a lot of the kids. I'll bring them down like before my practice, 2 hours before, and we're doing drills. and we're just teaching them to transition. Sure. Boom, boom, and like they're like, I'm bored. Well, guess what? Don't be bored. Let's go. Keep going. Because how many times did you throw a pitch, guys? He's going. And he dropped the ball.
Oh,
Right. He dropped the ball. You're like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Well, we got to sum it up here because we got to go to dinner. We're going down to Perry's, but
Are they sponsoring?
not yet.
All
We're
right.
going to work on them.
Make sure
Maybe
they
we'll
were
get
in.
some free steaks. But what do you think as a takeaway, like being a coach, being a dad, being a ball player? Well, what advice would you give to people who are in this new era, this drip, all this stuff, trying to do prospects and analytics? What's your main advice for people who are getting into baseball and trying to go the distance or at least get to the beer league?
I think it's not what you look like; it's how you play. And I think you hit the point. To me, baseball IQ is really everything. It's the starting point. Work with your kids on what is baseball. What are the rules? What do you do on a? You got a man. What's the difference between 1 outs and 2 outs in terms of a line drive or pop fly? You're running with 2 outs. You're going halfway. You're freezing on a line drive. Anything on the ground, you anticipate. There's just those kinds of things that will really help your kid to do well. Because I think the parents think that getting them a new glove and this stuff that they have around their neck, these huge multicolor necklaces and stuff like that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that doesn't help. Spend some time with them and play catch. That's what I would say.
That's awesome.
What do you think, Brockers?
I say don't give up on the kids and don't push them too hard when they're young. And that's kind of multifaceted, I know. But I can tell you, just in the time in high school and college, I've seen more kids that were starting pitchers in middle school that were getting Tommy John when they're sophomores in high school, and it just totally ruins them. And also, I played with a bunch of guys that were 5'6", 5'7" as in their junior year in high school, and then they got a tall mom or something like that, and they grow up and they're 6'5". I played with the Joyce twins.
Oh wow,
those guys, yeah. They
Joyce.
were like 5'10", probably their senior year. They're throwing low 90s. They were throwing hard, but they're nothing
Now,
like they are today.
105.
Yeah, so, you just don't.
Yeah.
I coached them.
Yeah.
Did you really? Oh wow.
Yeah. They just, I think everybody's so hard on these kids and they're young and they're just not. They're not 1% of what they're going to be as a sophomore or junior or something like that. They're going to grow. They're going to continue to grow. So yeah.
I love what you just said. Don't push them, because that is awesome. Especially coming from you, being a younger person than Dad and us. Don't push them. Keep the love of the game. Love the game of baseball. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Because if you don't do something that you don't love, it's a chore.
Yeah.
It's a chore. And I loved what you just said. Good job. That was awesome.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. This was a little bit.
Are we going to do our little skit that we always do? Get off
my lawn?
Yeah. Did you do any get off my lawn rants?
Yeah, well, thanks for having us, too.
Yeah, thank you.
Anytime.
I've got some lightning rants
Okay,
here
lightning
for you
rants.
real quick. All right. Everybody knows who the best third baseman was. Who's the second best third baseman of all time?
There you go, guys.
Beltre? Maybe.
Adrian Beltre, huh?
I don't know
that
if Chipper
there's a
Jones.
right
I don't know if
answer.
Chipper Jones was first or second, but I think he's got to be.
Well,
in there.
Mike Schmidt. A lot of people are going to go for
I like
Mike
Greg
Schmidt.
Nettles.
I was going to say Greg Nettles. You're right. Well, we are right.
Greg Nettles.
I'm going to go with Chipper Jones as second. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, and you say
Atlanta boy.
Beltre.
I like Beltre.
That's a good one. I like that. Good job, guys.
Beltre had a good attitude.
Quick one. Who's going deeper in October? This one's kind of for you. The Mets or the Yankees? They're both
I'm gonna let
up to
them go
pretty-
first. I'm gonna let them go at that one because then I can get into after. It's given.
Like the torpedo bats.
I think
With the Yankees.
I think the Mets are going to go.
Oh wow.
I think the
Okay.
Mets.
You're not going to run out of steam. What?
Yeah,
you're the
I'm-
expert.
I'm-
You're the
I-
expert.
listen, the Yankees
You've
will
got
go
a Mets
further.
hat and you've got a
Mets
Yankees hat.
But I have to be a Mets hat because I did pick the Mets as my team this year, and everyone's like, "What the hell is you?" And I said, "You know what?
That'd be like me wearing an Alabama hat.
Exactly. Yeah, it was something like, no, I would never wear a Boston Red Sox hat. I can guarantee you that, boys. But I was like, you know what? I want the Mets this year. People are like, what the hell's wrong with you?
See, the thing you got to know about Seth is he's got a hat for just about every franchise. He's got some Premier League soccer hats.
I do.
And he will wear the hat just to troll you.
Absolutely.
Depends who he's hanging out with that weekend. He will wear the arch rivals hat. You were wearing the Astros jersey last week for the Rangers fan.
Yep.
I mean, he's ruthless about this stuff. But the last one we got here, worst franchise.
Ooh,
What's the worst franchise in Major League Baseball?
Oh, you go to baseball, huh?
Or, any pro sport.
Well, let them go.
Titans.
Oh, well, I'm in that
you
now.
got him. Zing him.
Levis was worthless after he lost Gia. Everybody knows.
It's a tough time for the
Maybe
Titans.
he's got spoiled.
I don't know if they've earned that. I mean, they're not as bad as the Browns,
I
Browns
lost a
have
lot of
long
money on
history.
the Titans.
Hey,
last year.
I mean, it's long suffering being a Titans fan, but we were in AFC Championship just a couple years ago. I mean, so it's not like it's
Sun shines
that
on a
bad.
dog's ass sometimes,
Troy,
pal.
what do you think? What's the worst franchise?
It's funny that you said the Browns because that kind of came to mind. Overall.
Just the worst franchise ever.
Can you come back to me on that one?
All right, I'll do one, then I'll put mine in.
Research on ChatGPT.
The New York Jets.
Oh,
The New York Jets. When an owner asks his 18-year-old son if he should go out and get a wide receiver, and he says no, he's not a 99 on Madden. Yep, we're not going to sign him. What a fucking moron!
remind me who they lost out on that.
Oh, what was the wide receiver's name again? What was it?
He's not a 99.
No, he wasn't a 99.
I remember seeing that video.
Yeah. I forgot the guy's name, but it was. I think it was. Was he on the Seahawks or something?
Yeah. Oh, maybe it was Metcalf.
It was Metcalf.
Metcalf?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think one of either him or Lockett. I think
Yeah,
one of the
yeah.
other two. I forgot it was, but he wasn't a 99. Didn't want to sign him. I should call my buddy Joe. He'll know. He'll know. Damn right. He's a Jet fan.
You gonna go with the Jets?
I think I'm going to go
Okay,
with the Jets
the
after
Jets
that.
are pretty atrocious. He's got like a Jets hat.
Yeah.
I do.
He
I was trying to
drafted
think of
Brees
somebody in
Hall
baseball.
first
I
round
did
last
draft
year.
Brees Hall. You
Rays
know
are
what?
pretty bad.
Rays.
Rays.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
But you know what though? They do have some great pitching coaches.
Yeah.
They can make anybody a good pitcher.
You
They
got,
really
any
can.
of your, you got any of your kids doing the Soto shuffle yet?
No, God no, God no.
Dad hadn't seen that, I don't think.
What's
The
that?
Soto shuffle.
They throw a ball, he lunges forward and does some different stuff. Grabs his nuts.
Yeah. There's the drip.
I gotta show Blake.
Yeah.
No, don't do that.
Do you guys have walk-up songs?
No, God no.
All right.
We do.
God no.
21-1 yesterday. We were still playing the walk-up
So
songs.
the new rule is if you're not, no walk-up songs.
Good.
Yeah.
I know people do them though.
It just drives me nuts.
Yeah.
And I don't even know the words that are coming out. Now, Thunderstruck every once in a while comes out. I'm like,
Like, all right, like,
that's
hey,
a
can
good.
you play that again?
Yeah, that's a good.
TikTok songs. They know Motley Crue or ACDC.
Well,
or nothing like that.
my son did have a walk-up song with Mike when he first was playing in the travel ball at 8 years old, like an idiot.
Yeah.
He had the song was what was it called? The Trooper by Iron Maiden.
Nice.
At 8 years old, he came up, The Trooper. I was like, yeah. And he goes, Dad, I want to do this other song. It was Pantera by Walk. I go, I'm like,
That's fun too. Both heavy on the guitar on both of those.
yeah.
So.
So.
Well, guys, thank you so much.
Thank
we
you, guys.
appreciate
A pleasure,
you sitting
man.
down.
Thanks for
and,
having
you know,
us.
We
Thank
may
you.
call you up sometime randomly and get your input on this or that, but you're now friends of the show.
Yes,
Great.
anytime. Always welcome. Always phone
Make
calls, and more than welcome come down. And guys, thank you so much for everything. Appreciate it. Welcome to the Get Off My Lawn Studios
Love it.
here in Kevin Dyson's old house, and everything is a
yeah.
yard short in this household, so be careful.
I thought you were going to get him on the show.
We are.
What's
We
the
got- we already
status
talked.
there? Come on.
It's coming. It's
All
coming.
He's
Baby
going to kick
steps.
your ass
He
for all the
probably will.
jokes you've made about him.
He's such a nice guy. Apparently, my daughter knows him too. So he was the principal of my daughter's high school.
Really?
Yeah. She's texting him. So I'm like, all right, you get him on the show. She's like, he's like, I might come on the show. So.
We'll let you know when that comes out. In the meantime, you guys have a great summer.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Good luck to y'all.
All right.